This is an interview with Mrs. Effie Root Stahle on May 11th, 1978. The interview will take place in Mrs. Stahle's home in Rossmore.
Quite a thing about it. We were married here in Lafayette.
When did you come? When did your family come to Lafayette, Mrs. Stahle?
In 1904.
You first came to Lafayette?
Yes, I think it was in the winter time. See, I was going to school in Berkeley, McKinley.
McKinley High School? McKinley Grammar School.
I wasn't in high school.
No, how old were you when you came to
Well,
Lafayette?
I have to figure it out. 91, and it's 88 now. 1988, you see. Isn't that? I think it is.
Yes.
And I came down. We were in Berkeley, and our old Berkeley house is there. My nephew has the picture of it.
Where exactly in Berkeley is it?
What?
Where in Berkeley is it?
Between Claremont and College.
Oh, I do know that area, yeah.
At the big white house. It had 5 bedrooms and 2. There was a fireplace in every room, and then every room.
Oh,
you know, they didn't have any flowers. I mean, stood before any.
Yeah.
Until it was a lovely, and it's still now made into
condominium
apartments.
Yes, I see.
It's about
now this
3
was
acres.
the family home or the house you lived in when you were married? This is your family home?
Yes. Oh yes.
Tell me, what was
we
your...
had an outdoor wedding. It rained the 1st of May, and it rained. The 1st of May, it was just beautiful, and the 1st of May, no, it rained on the 1st of May. The 2nd was beautiful, and the 3rd it rained again. It was really funny, and all my friends, all of Lafayette, Walnut Creek, they gave in all their flowers, and there was really quite a wedding.
Sounds lovely. Well, tell me more about your the home in Lafayette in Happy Valley.
I'll bring in the I can show it to you. The picture of it.
About what year was this photograph taken of your Happy Valley home, Mrs. Stahle? At the turn of the century. You came
wrong.
in 19...
You're talking
well,
to
that's
the wrong
all right.
person.
You came in 1904, you said, to
Oh
Happy
yes,
Valley?
but you see, we remodeled the house. The house was not, we remodeled it when we came.
So it didn't look like this when you came?
No.
Yeah.
This had 2 bedrooms downstairs and a fireplace and there and the door going out in the front here.
Yes.
And my mother and father was downstairs, and my sister's was here.
The bedroom.
Yes, the bedroom. And then it went upstairs. And then this tree goes right through the stair, upstairs. This was all the way around, and here was there was upstairs there.
Yeah, the stairway.
Yes, I mean it went through so it went right through we had to cut it out part of around it because it was such a big, it kept growing all
Yes,
the time.
it looks huge.
It was a locust.
Well, we understand that the locust trees were planted by Nathaniel Jones. Is that right?
They were there when we came.
Did your family buy the home from Nathaniel Jones?
I never knew any Jones, no.
Who owned the property before your family bought it? Do you remember? You don't remember. Well, that's all right.
No, I don't remember. Because I didn't go out right at the time of that. I was still finishing my the school. We had, I could tell you who owned the Berkeley home.
No, we're really interested in the Lafayette home. I see. Would you describe where this is? I see this low hill in the background. Can you tell us exactly where this home is? This is called Locust Farm.
I could show it to you.
Well, maybe someday we'll take a little ride up there.
Yes, I had my own horse and my own pillow, my own old horse.
Your own horse, yeah.
I've had a fall, and it's made me very boosted. Fell down those stairs, and I haven't gotten over it yet. And on the top of it, I've got that's on my head. I have the
shingles.
I've never heard of such a thing.
Oh, it happens. It happens. I understand. That's too bad.
And I have a saddle too made.
You had your own saddle.
My own horse, and I used to go up. Now here.
Who is this young man in the picture right there? Is this one of your family members?
Let me see if I can tell. I think it's a young boy. My father was a man that wanted, he'd help every boy out that came to the house. And this little boy was, his mother married again. I'm sure it is that.
What was your father's name, Mrs. Stahle?
John Boyce Root. They all call it J.B. He's mostly J.B. And he was had a horses. Now, does that look like a girl with hair on? I don't think it was. I think it was.
Can't tell. Well, that's all right.
My brother.
I just thought you might know.
Yes.
What was your brother's name?
Robert.
Is this the Robert Root who became a veterinarian?
Yes.
Yes. Well, tell us about.
I think it
could well be Robert then.
I think this could be Robert, because not being sure, I'm pretty sure it's my brother. And we all had our horses and our ponies. We had Shetland ponies. Did you ever hear the Nears down at Walnut Creek?
Yes, I believe I have.
There, well, he was a cousin of my father, and when he came out, they always followed, and he kept his property there. You know, he had wonderful property. And then we gave him we never sold our ponies. And he had others, I suppose, around. He let them have another ponies, and they were lovely. Everybody, they'd say, go driving them into town. Mr. McNeil would say, there comes the Roots, look out.
How many brothers and sisters did you have, Mrs. Stahle?
5 in the family.
Let's see now, you told me there was Robert.
Only one boy.
That was Robert.
Mm-hmm.
And then who were the girls?
But
What was the name of the girls?
Edna. Edna was the oldest, and Effie was the second.
Effie was the second, yes.
And Mildred. Helen.
Helen.
And then it was Mildred.
And was Robert the youngest then?
No. Oh, no, Robert was younger
The
than
youngest.
me.
Yes,
He came
he was the
under me.
Yes.
I was a boy. I'd love to run. He and I used to jump on our horses, you know, there'd be ducks or those birds come out and eat the food, and we'd go out and get our horses and run like anything, and go on see even bareback.
Yes. Oh, that sounds like fun.
Oh, we had lots of fun.
How big of a ranch was your ranch on Happy Valley, Mrs. Stahle?
It was 500 acres.
Oh, that's really a big ranch.
Oh.
Did it go in from the house? Now, tell me, did it go up the hill, where exactly where did the 500 acres go?
This was a road that came down.
That was the Happy Valley Road.
Yes, and then Papa took I'm sorry.
That's all right.
This has just happened to me. The
Buckboard?
No. Shoot. Wait a minute, I'll get
That's
it.
all right. Yeah, we have lots of time.
The cars, they'd swim, you know what I can't say it now.
In front of the road,
this
yeah.
house. And this house, there's I should have my sister here because.
So you had lots of big walnut trees back there, I see.
Yes, but no, these would be.
These are all locusts.
Yes, some of it, but there was those birds, the one that you said Jones did planted.
Locust. Yes, I think that.
So they were there when
already
we were there.
Tell me, what did your father raise on this ranch, Mrs. Stahle?
It's easier for me to tell nothing, unless everything.
Did you have cattle?
Oh yes.
You did?
That's what it was. It was just
a cattle ranch.
My father got it in 1904.
Yeah.
And it was stocked. He'd stocked it, and he had all cattle and horses.
Cattle and horses, I see.
And horses.
Yes.
And all fruit.
You had lots of fruit trees. What kind were they? All kinds of fruit? All kinds of fruit? All kinds of fruit?
The fruits were all, this was all just oaks and things like that. But down flat, you see, this was all feed for food. For
so
the
you
horses,
grew grain then?
Yes. And horses and cattle would go here. Because I can remember when he said, he couldn't ride very well because he was a very ill man.
Your father was ill?
He never was well.
Yeah.
And so when he needed the horses to be in, and he said, "I've called me Jack." He said, now, just get on the horse and tell him what you want to do, and he'll come down and do it."
Now who is this, Jack? Who was he a hired hand?
What?
Who was Jack? Is that what you called Jack?
No, he called me Jack.
He called you Jack, I see.
Because I was...
You were a tomboy.
I was toy.
Yes.
Had curly.
Yeah,
Two
and
names.
curly, yes.
So I had curly hair. My hair it isn't curly. It's right in the back, you know. There'd be a road going up here, all up in here. This was Silver Canyon.
Silver Canyon.
There was a silver road up there.
So you you did have fruit then, cherries.
Oh yes, there was 3 pounds of some. Papa was not. He didn't like fruits and things. He was a cattleman.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of cattle.
Yeah.
Dairy.
Oh, did you have dairy cows too?
We had the dairy. The time
I
of the
see.
the time of the the time we had the
In 1906, you had cattle.
cattle, and we had well, a dairy, like.
Yes, and a dairy.
I
How
can
big a
remember-
dairy was it?
Oh, well, I can remember at that time when it was a dairy, when the quake came. Well, we had 10. Was put in 10 tins of milk. 10 tins.
10 tins of
Yeah,
milk.
10 gallons.
Yes.
And take 10 of them and take them down to the people in the well, it was one across from Bancroft.
You took the milk to people who needed it, who were.
They needed it.
Yes, these are people who were escaping from the San Francisco earthquake and fire.
Oh yes.
Oh, I see. And you gave them. You took milk to them.
Yes, we carry it in, and give. I know they gave some to on Dana Street there, that across from the church there, and because I was with them, we went down it was at least 10 cans of, and that kept it up as long as we had it.
Well, wasn't that a good thing for your family to do?
And then we had a cell out here. We built. Now wait a minute. This was a door leading.
You had a milk house in the back there then.
Yes.
And
we had
a meat house. Does that mean you slaughtered your own cattle?
Yes, we did our own cattle.
Slaughtered your own meat. Did you sell it in town? Did you sell the meat in town? Was it just for yourself?
It was just
for your family?
Yes, it was
just for the family.
It was just because it had it was that place there was filled, that I don't know what it was filled with water, you know. It would keep it drained.
Yeah.
He built, and then he fastened. Yes, would have a wheel to fasten like a machine to get to go make the meal.
Yes. Tell us, you're just saying, Mrs. Stahle, that your father was buried in the Lafayette Cemetery?
Yes.
And
my husband.
And your husband, yes.
And my grandparents. And my mother.
And your grandparents? On the root side or
on the root side.
On the root side of the family?
And my 2 sisters. and she was a Brown.
Now, which
Yes,
Brown is Sybil's
Sybil's sister.
Sybil's sister? Yes.
Her husband was
Sybil Brown.
in the lower one. There, he was there too, but I don't know why. But my sister, she was in our where Papa and Mama and Grandpa and Grandma.
And your grandparents too. Well, you know.
My husband too.
Yes, the Historical Society hopes to put a plaque on the Lafayette Cemetery, making it a historical landmark.
Well, I think at the time I was told that it's the oldest one in Contra Costa County, because Contra Costa County had a big, this is what I've been told, a flower something of here, right about where where it is now. Of course, the Thompsons were here.
The Thompsons are buried in the Lafayette Cemetery too,
I imagine so. And
yes, sir.
so that's why one reason I wanted to come, because my husband was buried out here, and my sister kind of wanted to go up to Oakmont. But since I sold my home, I lived in Burton, San Francisco, and he never lived in that. He lived in San Francisco. He was an engineer in charge of streets and grades.
In charge of what?
In the grades, my husband.
In the grain market. I didn't hear you. In what was your husband? He was an engineer in what?
In Lafayette, in San Francisco, and he was streets and grades.
Oh yes, streets and grades. Yes,
They
now I
had to
understand.
be-
Yes.
And he was only all of the damage that was done was to the chimney at the time of just missed my father, because he was been outside and he was running inside when it started, and Mama and my mother and my father and my uncle bought a home for my grandmother and grandfather right in Walnut Creek here.
Yeah.
So it really, because my grandfather went up to in the Nevada Grass Valley. They have the other son. There was only two sons and one sister. Two sons and two sisters, but the one sister died at 19.
Well, can you tell us more about your family members? Tell us about your brother Robert. I understand he was a veterinarian. Can you tell us a little bit about him and his family?
Yes.
He was a veterinarian here around the 30s, I understand.
Around the what?
Around 1930?
Oh, no, let me see. 30. He lived in Walnut Creek at the time then, and he was married, but he was divorced.
Yes.
And and then she married again. And then he was with us. We bought a place out here at Lafayette when Muriel was 7 years old.
Who is Muriel? Who is Muriel?
My daughter.
I see.
Because she had asthma, and I always said, "Oh, I'd like to live out here again." He loved the country, But so one Sunday he says, well, I said, well, I'd like that house there. Well, why don't you go over and get to see it?
Where is it? Where was this house that you bought?
It was, I can't tell you the name now, but his mother, he was an old man, 92 years old, and his daughter was with him. I could tell you, but I can't.
You can't remember it right.
No.
Was it in downtown Lafayette? In
Yes.
downtown Lafayette,
Yes.
yeah.
It was right on the river, right
Near
on the street.
Near the stream, yeah.
And we had it we kept it. So then I went in, and it was a Sunday, and
Tell me a little bit about Edna.
Edna
married Brown. Edna's your sister, and she married Lloyd Brown.
Lloyd.
Yes. Do you remember a little bit about their family? They had.
Well, yes,
they had 2 children. That's Kenneth Brown and
yes,
Warren Brown.
Kenneth lived out here all his life.
Yes.
He has this lion knot.
Still lives in
on the horses.
Yes, in Lafayette.
And at the present time, he's not feeling very well. He's been in the hospital, but I think he's much better now. And Lloyd, and then the youngest boy, he is.
Now, that's Warren.
Warren, and he's in Piedmont now. I saw him just last week, 2 weeks before Christmas. I wouldn't have known him.
You don't see him too often, is that it?
Yes, he and Warren Kenneth and Warren took Lizzie and me to the Quables to dinner.
To
lunch.
That was very
and
nice.
I hadn't seen them. I left. You know, when people die off, you're older, they don't. You lose track of your brothers, and not your brothers and sisters, but your cousins.
Yeah.
But we did.
Mildred is your youngest sister, and she lives in Berkeley, did you say?
Yes, she's in Berkeley. She got no children. She doesn't have any children, but she lives up on in North Berkeley.
Is there anything else you can tell us about the Locust Farm?
Well, yes, I can. We hated to sell it, but my mother couldn't run that kind of acreage. And if you've ever been up there, if you had a car, I could tell you so much more about it. I can't drive it. See, I don't have center. My eyes have gone. I don't have any vision. And that's what Irene
Bunker?
Bunker.
Yes. Yes, tell us a little bit about Irene Bunker, where you were old friends.
Yes, and she could help you a lot.
Oh, I know, but we wanted to hear your reminiscences. Yes.
Well,
Who else were some of your
another thing
neighbors?
I'll tell you, the reason she came, you know, I went to school out here to the old school that is now the old school that now the church.
Yes,
there.
right there on Moraga
And then
Road.
the school down at the corner, you know, and the big, I was the first PTA president.
Oh, were you?
Yes, and I think it was Mrs. I tried to think of her name. A girl she came out from Walnut Creek to me and said, we want to put up in a PTA, and we want you to be president. I said, not me. She says, yes, you. So I had 3 years of it, and Irene was our secretary.
Irene Bunker was the secretary. Yeah.
And we'd have to clean. We did everything. Build the book. I mean the piano. That's so ridiculous. We put in the lunches.
Did you?
We put in the things that they could play with. They had nothing.
Playground equipment. Yeah.
And we give dinners.
Yes.
And we give dances.
Did you?
And we give plays.
Oh, marvelous.
To do it. And we went to Danville, and they asked us to give the play. I don't know what.
Well, when you gave plays, did you have students in the plays too, or just the adults?
Adults.
Just the adults, yeah.
Most of it was. I think some. Yes, it could be some, but they all worked so hard.
Did you charge for putting on the plays? Is that how you raised money? Did you charge? Yeah.
That's the way we had to make it. And they'd make a charge, and then they'd get it. And we'd tip it one day. There was one lady down here that I tried to think of it. She was the best one, because we'd have these big dinners, and she would take it like that, and mashed potatoes in it, and they donated. I was the only one with a car at that time that would drive around, and they'd donate some of them. Sometimes they'd say, oh, they don't need it. School was good enough for us, and it's good enough for them. We told them no. They needed a school, and then they had good times too, because they come up and eat. And I think we moved back to San Francisco at 1920, after we sold our house, and I'm sure that we went back in 20, because she went on down to Fresno to my sister.
Oh, I suppose you could. So you were PTA president around in the 1920s then?
Yes. I didn't want to be.
But it sounds like you had a good time.
Oh, well, we did, and everyone worked so well. They were all so wanted something better, and we put up. They had the wire, the big thing, and I haven't been up there. It's across from the. Where is what is the
It's at the church, yes.
Yes.
Right across from the library.
Then
Mrs. Stahle, you were going to tell us a little bit about the root home and